Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to a NerdTube review of the Netflix series Space Force. I'm Cousin Cheeto of NerdTube, and we're going to get talking about this. So, what's to say about Space Force? I like this show. It has that great deadpan humor that has room to grow. I feel like this is one of those shows that does not have the backing that it needs to get where it could be. I, of course, watched season one, and now season two is out. We go from 10 episodes in season one to 7 episodes in season two. So, I mean, you can definitely feel where this season was much shorter than the original. Um, I don't know. Watching this, I feel like I do get a 30 Rock vibe to it, where they take something from real life, which no matter what you think about the administration that created the Space Force, or whatever. I mean, not to get into that kind of stuff, but one day the Space Force might actually need to be a thing. And I think these people were creating it out of the fact that they thought it was silly and they needed to parody it. They wanted to parody it, and I think they do a good job of it. Because it is right now in our age of space varying, Space Force is kind of almost pointless. Although I also believe that it needs to grow with this our new space age that we are coming into. I feel like Space Force needs to be there to grow with it. So with this show, they do kind of take that into a comedic route where they kind of circle back in on the whether or not Space Force is needed. Space Force is always the joke. It used to be, Army versus Marines, Air Force versus Navy. All of those little rivalries, and Space Force is just like the redheaded stepchild. Now, the youngest sibling that just is like out of 5 kids. It's like whatever. Who cares? So with this season, I felt like that they did more focus on the ensemble as a crew, because you did have some relationships going in and out. And also, Stephen Carell's character went through some stuff, like he got divorce papers. He worked with his kid a little bit more because she was interning at the Space Force, and you see Angela, I believe her name is the astronaut who went on the moon in season one, and not Scientist Chang. I don't remember his title, um, but yeah. I mean, it. Chan and Angela are, and I know, I'm sorry if I keep if I butcher her name. I think it is Angela though. I'm trying to find it here really quick while I'm doing all this. Okay. Anyway, I thought this show really, as I said, it kind of has that 30 Rock humor that if you're not into it, you're gonna hate it. And I do like this show. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like this show definitely does not have the backing that like a show like 30 Rock had. It is definitely nowhere near on par with 30 Rock. I see the potential there, and unfortunately, I don't see Netflix giving it. As a matter of fact, it's coming up on, if it even gets a third season, I'm pretty sure it's gonna probably get cut, just because that's how Netflix does. They give it about 3 seasons, and unless it's a banger hit like Stranger Things or something like that, it just gets, or House of Cards, it just gets cut. So I'm pretty sure that even if it does get a third season, it probably won't make it past that. Now that I've said that, probably will get 5, 6, 7 seasons. I don't know. A lot of this season, it did focus more on the group, because you've got all of the main characters kind of involved in a lot of just a lot of shenanigans throughout each episode. I mean, you have an episode where the inquiry is, where the shenanigans from last season kind of come to a head, and they reluctantly kept Stephen Carell's General Naird in charge of Space Force, even though there was a lot of crazy convolution, and actually they got rid of the other general. I don't even remember his name, but he's a dickhead. So that was fun, and I figured they weren't getting rid of Naird, but with the way things were going in that episode, I was kind of wondering. They do have an episode about budget cuts, which, Space Force's budget was cut in half, which, hey, with our government, why not? I mean, that's what's been happening in NASA for the past, since the last moon landing. So they've been cutting that budget. So I think NASA's got like a 0.03 of the national budget or something like that now. It's so terrible. Or point 0.3 maybe. Maybe point 0.3. There's an episode where they talking with the Chinese delegation, which was a lot of the antagonists of the first season was the Chinese. They're talking about splitting the moon resources, yada yada. Just trying in there. There's a lot of fun stuff in that episode where you just see, General Naird's daughter getting a lot of shine, and General Naird, getting drunk off his ass, which is a lot of fun. But then there's episodes like Europa Project where it really shows me that they're making fun of Space Force, and as I said, you kind of have to because it's kind of funny. Space Force is kind of, as I said, at this point in our spacefaring venture growth, Space Force is kind of useless. But they're relegated to making a PowerPoint to just in case they encounter alien life and how they would kill it. Okay, that's the whole thing. And there's like shenanigans in that episode, and they do a bunch of pranks and everything, and so it was a fun episode, but it definitely made me see, okay, this is they don't in real life they think Space Force is a complete and utter joke. And then there's an episode where Naird has a gallstone or a kidney stone that they have to get rid of, and it's kind of like meh. There's episodes where people are looking for other jobs. One scientist, Chan, is offered a job at SpaceX, and he doesn't take it because he wants to stay with Dr. Leonard. I think that's his name, Dr. Leonard. God, I'm so bad at names. I'm sorry, Dr. Adrian. So, I don't know. His first name's Adrian. I can't remember his last name. But, and speaking of that, John Malkovich I love John Malkovich in this show. He's just so good. Like, I don't know. I've always loved John Malkovich, and I just think he's so great in this show, and I love the fact that he's just this very smart, but yet very awkwardly sophisticated scientist, and I think he plays that very well. The last episode, The Hack, though, I really felt like this episode was really weak because basically what's happening is the day of the re-eval of Naird and everything like that, they go in there and then they think they get hacked by the Russians. That's what they think. I don't know if they ever proved it in the episode, but and they're reading scripted lines about this satellite that's falling out of orbit. That's not actually, but they read a script of them basically because if they've hacked them, then they can hear them. But they read the script of basically saying, "Oh, wouldn't want this satellite to kill all the people in Russia when it falls." Blah blah blah, and it's just like this season felt very mundane. At least last season, they had the idea of getting astronauts to the moon again, which they did in the last season, and they had the whole America-China confrontation on the moon, and there was a ton of mystery behind that of what happened on the moon and all that other stuff. Angela, gosh, I hope that's her name because if that is not her name, yeah, I'm gonna hear about it all. Oh, it is Angela. Haha, look at that. So now she's a major by the end of this, and I one of those things. If you watch my Star Trek reviews, you know that I want to see like advancement in anything that involves rank. Like if there are ranks and stuff like that involved in a show or anything like that, I want to see advancement. You can't have them as like the forever Ensign Kim. I'm sorry, like that's just poor storytelling in my opinion. So I'm glad that she got ranked up to major just because she's done exemplary things. She was on the moon. She led them back from the moon. Um, and obviously there were a lot of shenanigans on the moon, and somebody ate a parakeet, or not a parakeet. Well, I think it was a parakeet or something like that. They ate a bird, someone's bird. So, um, yeah. So I'm very torn because part of me just wants them to just kind of throw the book at this until they're actually ready to put the, like, I don't have a problem with the humor. I have a problem with the the sincerity they have of making this into a good show. It doesn't have the proper backing. It doesn't have the backing, you know, as I said, like NBC did 30 Rock. Like NBC backed 30 Rock, and they made and 30 Rock made fun of NBC. You know, like there were no holds barred in that show. This show just doesn't have that backing, and that's what makes me sad. Anyway, so that's my review of Space Force Season 2. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment below. If you didn't like it, leave a comment below. Let me know why you didn't like it. As I said, I'm really kind of in the middle on this one for certain reasons. As I said, I feel like it could be so much better, and I just don't feel like it has the backing. However, I thought it was an okay season of Space Force. And yeah, so I'll catch you guys in the next one. Catch you later.